Hey guys, this is Lenny the Vlogger. We're starting our vlogging series for 2019 about age-friendly Seattle coffee hours. Not something we've done before, but the coffee hours have been around for the past 20 years or so. We'll learn today about Human Services Department, or HSD. Jason Johnson is going to be presenting. So we're pretty much set up here. We have a podium, screen, and we'll have a PowerPoint. Back there, we're gonna have coffee and some handouts right up this way. Looking forward to visiting with our regulars as well as those who come here for the first time. Let's check in at the end. See you then.
Thank you for the invitation to be with you. This is my second time speaking at your coffee hour. The Human Services Department is a full spectrum human services organization. We are a funder primarily, but we also provide substantial direct services to citizens, to residents of the city of Seattle and countywide in the other 37 cities and jurisdictions. But we're also a convener. This is our role as a convener. We bring people together. We bring people together for planning, for discussion, to try and figure out innovative ideas about how we can do our work better, and to hear the impact, maybe even negative impact, that our policies and practices are having in the community. So the Department of Human Services is one of the largest contributors to Seattle's safety net. Most of the time when we talk about public funders, the City of Seattle and King County Department of Community and Human Services are the two largest funders. Whether that means that we're investing local dollars, the Human Services Department, we invest a substantial amount of local investment back into the community. But sometimes those are state dollars, sometimes those are federal dollars that are passed through our agencies and put back out to the community. At the Human Services Department, we invest more than $120 million every year, and we do that through contracts with about 170 community-based service providers. So these are typically nonprofit organizations that are doing the work that we invest in and make sure are supported in the right way so that they continue to support the community. For us, it's really important both inside the department, but also in our partnership with those community-based organizations, that everything we do, we're doing with racial equity at the forefront. We want to make sure that disparities that we see in who needs these services and who accesses these services are reduced. So preparing youth for success, that is multiple strategies inside of that, from keeping kids in school, making sure that they have healthy food to eat, making sure that their homes are safe, ensuring that they have the opportunity, if they so desire, to continue their education and take steps toward college or university, but also that there are opportunities for young people to be in the workforce, to start their careers, start really building a resume as high school students and young college students, or young people who are no longer engaged in school. We want to make sure that there's employment opportunities. Supporting affordability and livability. Seattle is a lot more expensive than when I moved here 22 years ago. And for individuals, especially individuals and families on fixed incomes, this becomes a huge obstacle. And so making sure that there is help with rent, that there are discounts and help with utilities, that there is a means of having affordable transportation, access to public transportation. as well as access to food and affordable health care. These are all areas that we want to try and ensure a place for people who live in this region. Addressing homelessness. We've seen year after year the number of people who are sleeping outside in our city increase. At any point right now there are nearly over 12,000 individuals who are experiencing homelessness in our county. So we have a crisis of homelessness in this region, and it's part of our work to help address that. Public health. So public health is its own separate agency, but we are the department that holds the city's portion of the funding that goes toward public health. We make a number of public health enhancements in our clinics. Likewise, we want to make sure that environmental health and other public health tools are in place to make sure that public health is prioritized and in place here in the city. We want to make sure that we're responding to gender-based violence. And when I say gender-based violence, what I'm really talking about is domestic violence, sexual assault, and human trafficking. We want to make sure that there is a safe place as well as some safety planning for those survivors of gender-based violence. And last but definitely not least is we want to promote healthy aging. We want to make sure that Seattle and King County is a place where people can age with health and access, transportation, and social opportunity. It is a different way of us doing our work with other departments and with community members. So again, sort of looping back to Age Friendly, I'm really excited to that initiative launch. And I wanted to open it up to questions and communication. This is me. This is my email address. I have cards up here if you prefer to give a phone call, but I want to be fully accessible to you. I want to hear from you. I want to hear your ideas. I want to hear what you are seeing as issues that you think we could do a better job in trying to solve. So I make myself available to you anytime you need me. Likewise, the Customer Service Bureau at the City of Seattle is the best way to contact the city if you see something and want to report it. So if you see someone struggling, if you see someone that needs help or attention, or if there's just something in your life, in your neighborhood, that you want the city to respond to, the Customer Service Bureau is the best place to call. This is a traditional 7-digit number. You can also just dial 311. 311 from any phone will get you to the Customer Service Bureau of the city. For those of you that use your smartphone, there's also an app called the Find It, Fix It app. And that's a really good way to really quickly take a photo of and report a pothole, take a picture of flyers attached to light poles, whatever complaint you have, a car that's been parked somewhere too long, etc. The Find It, Fix It app is a good way to be in communication with the city. And then I wanted to highlight the community living connections. So this is an important phone number for anyone who wants to sort of access services, especially individuals who are seniors or living with a disability. I think this is a really good number for individuals to always sort of have at the ready when you have a question about or want to access services.
Out of all the homeless shelter beds, what is the occupancy rate of them?
Great question. So I look at that regularly. There's a dashboard that anyone can access. If you go to All Home King County, or Google All Home King County, you'll see that there's a quarterly dashboard. And what that shows is not only what are the investments, it shows all the programs and program areas that we invest in, but it shows how they're doing. So how many people are leaving those programs and moving into permanent housing? How long are people staying in those programs? Where are they coming from when they enter those programs? And this data set around a vacancy rate, like how are they full? And last I looked, which was just before the Christmas holiday, the answer was yes, they're full. In fact, I believe the number was 92.5%. So 92.5% of all shelter beds in Seattle were occupied. I live in West Seattle, but I typically walk through City Hall on my way to the Seattle Municipal Tower. And sometimes I'm here quite early and will stop by and just see how things are going at the City Hall shelter. And that shelter, which again is just sort of mat on floor, bare bones, overnight shelter, is more than full. I just want to say thank you. I, again, appreciate the time. I'm sorry, an hour seems like a really long time, and then there it is, it's gone. Invite me back. I'd love to return and continue this discussion. Thanks again.
So thank you again for joining us. We have these events every month, every third Thursday of every month except for December, here in the Central Building. We hope that you'll join us, and if you can't, come in through YouTube and check out our vlogs. If you haven't already, click subscribe and also click that little bell so that you're notified every time we post a new video. That would be super awesome. We'll check in with you next time. Bye.